Okay, I'm trying to record using Camtasia. I hope it will not cause any problems. All right, so what I wanted to say is this this module that we're gonna do today is also part of the skill pipe books that y'all redeemed yesterday, and it is yeah, if you open up your skill pipe book, you will see it's under module 4, general security and network security features. Yeah. So we're just gonna start with the security tools and features. So if you just open up your book, you will see it right there. Okay, so our session today was supposed to be starting from 5:10, and yeah, we're a bit behind on time. So we're just gonna like try and cover up the theory part and then do the practicals. I hope that won't be tiring much, but yeah, we're just gonna try that. Okay, so our module outline for module 4 is that we're gonna learn about Azure security features. We're gonna learn about the security center, not the whole of it, but just only the fundamentals, just to like let you know what is the security center for. And then we're gonna know about the resource hygiene, just like us as people, as human beings, we need to like take care of our hygiene. So it's like similar to that when it comes to like the resources, so you can be protected and you can like increase the security for your resources. And then we're gonna learn about the key vaults, just like you got a vault in your house, maybe where you like keep your stash of money, where you hide your stuff. The same thing about the key vaults there, and that's where you like hide your keys for your organization. And then we're gonna know about the Sentinel. Okay, when I saw this name, I just thought maybe like Transformers or what's the other one, Terminator. Yeah, but okay, so the Sentinel, it's like a platform that enables you to collect data in your organization's data centers and check whether that data is still protected. So it's something like that. So like just like the Sentinels in some of the movies, they just stand guard right there, like they're security guards. Yeah. And then we have something we call the dedicated hosts, of which we're gonna learn about too. And then we're gonna learn about the Azure network security and the defense in depth, the network security groups, firewalls, and then the DDoS protection. Yeah. Distributed denial of service. All right. So we're going to start with the security tools and features. So our objective domain right here just focuses on Azure Security Center, including policy compliance, security alerts, secure score, and resource hygiene. Azure Sentinel, Key Vaults, Azure Dedicated Hosts. It's a lot, but I would say, okay, yeah, it is a lot, and it's the critical parts when it comes to Azure. So this is what you like need to strengthen on mostly if you would like to use Microsoft Azure. Okay, yeah, fine. However you want to pronounce it. All right, so let's start with Azure Security Center. Okay, there's also walkthroughs over here, but that which we're gonna cover later when we need to like check it out. So Azure Security Center is a monitoring service that provides threats protection across both Azure and on-premises data center. Just to like maybe try and go back a bit and see if the two of y'all, because we only have two attendees today, the top attendees, Top Sile and Tabo Gift. Okay, I just like want to know, like, what do you remember when we spoke about on-premises? Your mic is enabled, so you can use that. You can just put up your hand. Yeah, I like engaging with attendees. When we spoke about on-premises, what did we mean about on-premises? Guys, come on. Come on. Come on. Taboo. Okay, we can continue, it's fine. Right. So with on-premises, it means that it's on your physical locations. Like your data centers are on your physical locations. They are not stored somewhere else where there's Microsoft data centers, but it belongs to you. The infrastructure belongs to you. That's what they mean by on-premises. So it provides security recommendations, detect and block malware. We know that there's a lot of malware going around. Even people, when they're clicking on certain mails that are not like legit emails, and then they get some malware. So it detects and blocks malware, analyze and identify potential attacks. So it can see like an attack coming from far. And then just in time access control for ports, like connection ports. All right. So Azure Security Center is a unified infrastructure security management system that strengthens the security posture of your data centers and provides advanced threat protection across your hybrid workloads in the cloud. Whether you're using a private cloud, but no, for private cloud, okay, a public cloud and a hybrid cloud, yeah, not for private, but hybrid and public cloud, yeah. Okay, and then this is where we're just gonna do our walkthrough, but then we're not gonna focus onto it right now. We're just gonna like leave it for later. And then we have the Azure Security Center capabilities. So these are the capabilities that the Security Center has. It has policy compliance, which run policies across management groups. We spoke about management groups yesterday. We spoke about subscriptions yesterday, or tenants. And then it has continuous assessments. It assesses new and deployed resources to ensure that they are configured properly. Okay, configured properly. And it has tailored recommendations based on existing workload with instructions on how to implement them. We're gonna see that too again when we're doing the walkthroughs for this one right here, this walkthrough right here. We're gonna see how to implement the recommendations. And then there's also threats protection. It analyzes attempted threats through alerts and impacted resource reports. Also that too, we're gonna see like how we create alerts and how we analyze those alerts and then implement secure level of protection. Then we have the Sentinel. So the Sentinel is a security information and event management, they call it SIEM for short, system, and security automated response solution that provides security analytics and threat intelligence. So it has connectors and integrations. I did try it out yesterday because yeah, it's been a while since I wanted to, like, I've been procrastinating on trying it out. But since I don't run an enterprise, I don't really see the need for me to use it. So it's mostly for enterprises, for big companies that have like remote locations. So you have connectors and integrations for Office 365, Azure Active Directory, Azure Advanced Threat Protection, and Microsoft Cloud App Security. So what it does, it collects data across all users and devices, applications, and infrastructure, both on premises and multiple clouds. And then it detects the threats and minimize false positives using analytics. So the difference with this one and the security center is that this one works more like an AI. It works more like artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's way more advanced than the security center. So it also investigates threats with AI enhanced suspicious activities at scale. So whether you have like multiple data centers all over the world, you can like connect them to the Sentinel, so the Sentinel can detect the threats for you and then investigate and then respond to the incidents with built-in orchestration and automation of common tasks. So you don't have to do much, just like a security center, but the Sentinel will do the work for you. And I hope that it doesn't like turn around and be like, I'm gonna destroy you. Okay, and then we have the Azure Key Vault. So the Azure Key Vault stores application secrets in a centralized cloud location. Maybe some passwords, secrets management, yeah, something like that. And then so it stores secrets. Okay, it's secrets management, key management, certificate management, and storing secrets backed by hardware security modules, HSMs. And we have to do the walkthrough on how to implement the Azure Key Vault later on. Right. And then we have something we call the dedicated host. So with this one, with Azure like provides you with physical servers that host one or more Azure virtual machines that is dedicated to a single organization's workload. So with this one, you don't share any resources with anybody else. When they give you a dedicated host, it's for you only, for your organization only. Nobody else can touch it, but only you. And everything that happens on it, you maintain it with your organization. They just give you like like a virtual data center that you have to maintain. So with Azure Dedicated Host, the server is dedicated to organization only. Yeah, they just provide you with that data center or how many data centers you need for your organization, and then you can replace the VMs directly onto your provision host in whatever configuration best meets your needs. But then it has limitations. So the limitations are that the virtual machine scale sets are not currently supported on dedicated hosts. But then the benefits are that reserving the entire host provides the following benefits: the hardware isolation at the physical server level. No other VMs will be placed on your hosts. So they just give you like the full-on virtual hardware that you're going to use for your organization. That's what it is. Yeah. So now we're moving on to how to secure network connectivity. So this is another objective domain under module 4. Are we still okay though? I hope I'm not rushing. Before I continue, any questions? Thank you. Any questions? Even if you use an emoji, but I don't know. You can say, you can just do a thumbs up if you want me to continue. Okay, all right. Then I will continue. Thank you. All right, so in this objective domain, we will focus on the defense in depth and look at how to implement network security groups and what they are used for, the Azure firewall, and then the Azure DDoS protection. Okay, just like in any company, there's always security levels. Just like when you enter a certain building, there's always like certain types of security. Maybe for like physical security, we can say like there's a person standing guard or a security officer standing guard by the door, and then when you pass that security guard, maybe you will find like some other sort of security, whether it's biometrics or it needs like a card for you to like use. The same thing goes with when you come to cloud technology. Cloud technology also has like a physical security level, an identity and access level, perimeter level, network compute, application, and then data. So you can just like maybe say that this whole thing right here covers this level, this level, this level, and this level. So the data is covered by let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels. You see. Okay, so this is a layered approach to securing computer systems, provides multiple levels of protection, and attacks against one layer are isolated from subsequent layers. Yeah. So a brief overview of the role of each layer is that the physical security layer is the first line of defense to protecting computer hardware in a data center. And then we have the identity. So the identity and access layer controls access to infrastructure and change control. That's where you use your single sign-ons and your multi-factor authentication, just like how you saw yesterday when I was logging into my Azure portal. It requested me to open up an app on my mobile phone so I can give my computer access to my account. That is multi-factor authentication or a single sign-on. Yeah. With the multi-factor authentication, it's just like maybe like sign in, and then they give you a code, or they send you a code that you need to like put in, and then you are verified to log in. Yeah. And then we have the parameter layer. It uses distributed denial of service protection to filter large-scale attacks before they can cause a denial of service for users. I have wanted to try denial of service, but no. It's really a problem. I did try to like create virtual machine and then send like a large number of packets using ping to just like cause like traffic, and then traffic just congests and then the services just become faulty, I would say. Yeah. So that is like denial of service. So when somebody just attacks the system and just sends like a lot of requests, then it just becomes congested and the others cannot access the services. So with the perimeter layer, you use the denial of service, the distributed denial of service protection, to filter the large scale attacks before they can cause the denial of service. Right, and then the network layer limits communication between resources through segmentations and access controls. And then we have the compute layer that secures access to virtual machines. Just like I said yesterday, that compute is for containers and virtual machines. That's what they mean when they say compute. It's like an umbrella for virtual machines and containers, maybe like Docker or Kubernetes. And then we have the application layer. So the application layer helps ensure that applications are secure and free of security vulnerabilities. Oh, that word, vulnerabilities. Hackers like vulnerabilities and they use them a lot. Okay, and then the data layer controls access to business and customer data you need to protect. And that's what they actually need more. To destroy maybe a certain organization, they need access to the data, and just see like how many levels they need to go through in order to reach that data. Data is very like, it's like vitamins or vitamins, that's what they say, vitamins or vitamins in the internet world or the network world. It's like meat and everybody wants it. Okay, then we have we see like a diagram of shared security. So the orange part right here, the orange part, so is it a yellow part? Okay, but I'm seeing orange on my side. So the orange parts were like for SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, but the on-premises, you have to like maintain the security for all these components. Just like with the data governance and rights management, client endpoints, account and access management, identity and directory infrastructure, application, network controls, operating systems, the physical host, the physical network, and then the physical data centers, you have to maintain it because it's on premises. That is a private cloud. Your stuff, you have to take care of it, not Microsoft or any other cloud provider. Yeah. And then with the IaaS, you are actually like using the infrastructure more, but they give you the infrastructure and then the other stuff like operating systems, the network controls, applications, etc. You have to take care of the security for it. And then with the PaaS, the network controls, applications, and identity and directory infrastructure, you have like the 50% that you control, and then Microsoft has 50% that they control on their side. And then with the software as a service, when it comes to identity and directory infrastructure, there's a 50-50 share of security. So migrating for customer control to cloud-based data center shifts the responsibility for security. Yeah, so that's the diagram for shared security. It might come out in the exam, but not that much if you would like to take the exam. And then we have what we call the network security groups. So the network security groups, they filter network traffic to and from Azure resources on Azure virtual networks. And they set inbound and outbound rule to filter by source and destination IP address, ports, and protocol. And add multiple rules as needed within subscription limits. Azure applies default baseline security rules to new NSGs, the NSGs, which is network security groups, and it overrides default rules with new higher priority rules. So even inside the network security groups, you can add your virtual networks. So the virtual networks, you can add on the network security groups and then let the network security group maintain your virtual networks. Okay. And then we have the Azure firewall, just like you have a firewall on your computer with Windows Defender. So the Azure firewall is a stateful managed firewall as a service. So now a new term, firewall as a service. So we have IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and then DaaS, which was the database as a service, and now there's a new term. They like how would I say it? FAS or FAS? FAS. That grants denies server access based on originating IP address in order to protect network resources. So it applies inbound and outbound traffic, filtering rules, just like the NSG, by the way, and built-in high availability, unrestricted cloud scalability, and it uses Azure Monitor logging, just like the Azure Security Center. And then we can move on to the Azure Distributed Denial of Service Protection. So DDoS attacks overwhelm and exhaust network resources, making apps slow or unresponsive. So whenever you're using an app that is cloud-based and you just see that it is slow, it's because of the traffic that is like pointed directly to the app's services, and that maybe can cause a denial of service. And then, so what the DDoS protection does, it sanitizes unwanted traffic before it impacts service availability. And basic service tier is automatically enabled in Azure, and standard service tier adds mitigation capabilities that are tuned to protect Azure virtual network resources. More information about this is also found on your books, on your skill pipe books, but this is just like a summary of it. Yeah. And then we're just gonna look at we're just gonna review back the defense in depth. Combining network security solutions, just like NSGs and the firewall, to achieve defense, we combine them to achieve defense in depth, and then the perimeter layer protects your network boundaries with Azure DDoS. So the perimeter layer, which is this one right here, we use DDoS protection with Azure firewall to protect the whole system. And then with the networking layer, which is like the fourth layer from the outside, which is the fourth layer, networking layer only permits traffic to pass between networked resources with network security group, where inbound and outbound rules, just like when you're setting up on your firewall. Yeah. Okay. So before we end our module 4, we can just go back and try and do the walkthroughs that we left out, so we can move along. Right, let's just do this. So we're gonna check the Azure Security Center. Are we still okay though? Are we still okay? Topsile, Tabo, yes, thank you. All right. If you would like to follow along, please open up your browser and go to your portal.azure.com. Okay. Let me try and do this. No, stop sharing and then share again. Right. Okay. So we're gonna do that this walkthrough, which is we're just gonna launch our Azure Security Center. We're going to view the policy compliance options that we have. We're going to review our score and set a security alert, and then explore resource hygiene. Okay, so just going to go to portal.azure.com. But I would just want to ask if you'll still have your virtual machines created on your accounts, because with this one, for it to be able to work, you need to at least have one virtual machine. Top Sile, Taboo, with the THs. We got the THs today. So if you don't have a virtual machine, please just put a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Okay, if you don't have a virtual machine, please try and create one. And I can show you again how to create a virtual machine. So we're going to start with that. We're just creating a virtual machine, but I'm just going to have to create a resource group first before we go on our short break. So our short break today will be at 11:05. Oh no, 11:10. And then we're going to come back at our short break. We're going to come back at 11:15. So I have to create another resource group right here. Waiting for it. Let's maybe give it a name of fundamentals, and I'll just place it wherever and then create a resource group. So now I have my resource group. If I'm fast, please let me know. And then from here on my resource groups, which is called fundamentals, I will create my virtual machine. And I'm going to select the Windows Server 2019 data center. Give it a name of, maybe I'll say WinServe. And I can place it in this region, but no, I will, South African node is fine. And I'm not really going to use this one, so let's see. I'm just gonna use a cheaper one, and then I'm gonna use say admin123. Admin123. And then the long password. It matches. I would like to use an existing Windows license, even though I don't have one, but it's fine. Yeah, review and create. It's taking long. Right. Okay, here we are. And I'm just gonna be paying like those cents per hour. As long as I'm online. As long as it is operational. That's how much I'm gonna be paying per hour. So if you turn off your virtual machine, some resources, okay, for some resources you will not be charged, but for some you will be charged. So to minimize the costs, you need to like shut down or turn off your virtual machine. Okay. Are you creating your virtual machine on your side though? Are you creating a virtual machine on your side? Just show a thumbs up if you are following along. Thank you. Toby? So you're just gonna wait for it to finish up. It's taking its time. While we wait though, you can ask me some questions if you need some clarification somewhere. Okay. Seems like it's finishing up. but feel free to ask questions. Okay, so I've created my resource. Yeah, so that's how you create a virtual machine again. So I'm just gonna leave it as that's the WinServe virtual machine. Have you created a virtual machine? Okay, so from here, what you need to do is open up Security Center. And my one will already have like some stuff, like some results, because I I already implemented the Azure Defender. So for you to be able to get these results, you need to go onto Azure Defender. You need to go into Azure Defender, and why am I not seeing this now? Subscriptions. No. Okay, if you go into Azure Defender, you will get like there's some options that should be there. Okay, say because yesterday I was able to see them, but now they're gone. They are gone. Let me try the other account. Just bear with me. Okay, how about this? Let's just go into a break and then we will come back with me, like a short break. We will come back at quarter past because I didn't activate the Azure Pass on the other account. So yeah, I need to go through that process. So please, let's just go on to a break for now and then come back at 11:15. Yeah. You can open up your mic and say thank you. Oh. Alright, we can just go into a short break right now and just come back at 11:15. Okay. Welcome, Tiketo. Yo, we missed you.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I just had to take care of some work stuff in the morning.
Okay, no problem. Alright, so let's continue. Is everybody back? Okay. All right. So how you so you just have to go into pricing and settings. I just forgot about that step. You go into pricing and settings, able, and then click on your subscription that you have. For you, it will be, let me just, for you, it will be the Azure Pass subscription, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be the Azure Pass subscription. Okay, DK. So before you came in, we were going through the walkthrough for what's this? Security Center. How you this part. So we have to launch the Security Center just like we are in right now and view the compliance options. But before we go on to all this, you need to have a virtual machine available. So yeah, let's continue. So on your Security Center overview, you're just gonna like go down onto, I don't know why it's taking long now, onto management, and then from that management you click on pricing and settings. So from pricing and settings, you select your subscription. For me, it's this one, and I'm gonna click on it. And then there's the Azure Defender plans right there. So it's just gonna open it. At the moment for you, it's on Azure Defender off. So for you to enable it, you need to click on Azure Defender on, and then select which resource types you want to enable the Azure Defender for. So for me, it's the servers, of which I have 2 servers, so it's on, and I will not let okay, those ones are just, I'm just gonna like put on off, because I don't need for those. I need for storage, yes. I don't have Kubernetes, I don't have containers, I deleted them yesterday. Okay, I'll leave for Key Vault. For the resource manager, okay, I'm gonna leave that one on. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. And then for DNS, okay, I'm gonna leave it on. Yeah. And then from there, after you have selected the ones that you need Defender to be applied on, you're just gonna click on save. Are we still together though? Alright. So from here then, you just have to go back to the Security Center and go into overview. Then from overview, that's where you will see your secure score and the results from Azure Defender and regulatory compliance. Oh, English. Regulatory compliance. I'm tired. Yeah, but before you get this part right here, the regulatory English, I'm just gonna call it the RC. I'll be fine. I'm gonna call it the RC. It's a pity this is like recorded, but I'm gonna edit it. It's fine. Okay, so our next step was to, let's see, view the policy compliance options. It takes time for the compliance options to appear on your overview on Security Center, because when I was setting it up yesterday, it didn't like show up the same time, so I had to wait. Just like now it is uh, showing up as a dashboard panel or a dashboard feature, I would say. Welcome, Kambule. Thank you for joining us. So I'm just gonna go back and how we view those RC regulatory. Yes, got it. Okay, you go on to the cloud security section and then click on regulatory compliance. And then from here, see, I got my dashboards now. These were not here yesterday. All of this was not here yesterday. So you're just gonna have to go on to manage compliancy policies. And then from here, click on your subscription. This is just to like check if your systems are compliant enough. You see, just to see if they're compliant with the compliancy policies that are available on Azure. And then from here, what you do is it's either you add these compliancy policies that are here. Just like for me, I have, okay, these ones are added by default. And this one you need to add when you click on add more standards, the NIST. We're gonna see the standards later. So from here, you can just like maybe select one of these to add on a dashboard. Maybe this time around I can add this one. So I have to click on add. And then from here, I'll just leave the assignment name as that, signed by me. There are no exclusions, parameters. I have no users excluded. Remediation. Say review. Create. Oh, and parameters. But I have no users though. Like, let me just say test user. Test user. Okay, for this you need to like have like other users on your virtual machines. I need to have a log analytics workspace, so I'm just gonna cancel this one. I'm just gonna cancel it. Okay, let's see, I'm not in the UK. I'll just add the CIS. See in parameters, okay, I'm fine. Okay, remediation, just review and create. Don't have to add anything right there for parameters. This is just for like how to add a compliancy policy, so we're not just gonna dive deep onto it. So now I've added the Azure CIS compliancy policy version 1.1.0, and right here I need to assign some policies. Again, it's the same thing, parameters, remediation, and non-compliance messages. These are our whole messages that are found on it. And just click on review and save, or review and create on your side. So that is done. Yeah. All right, back to Security Center. So we just done the view policy compliance options, and now we're gonna review our score. So to review the score, we go back. Our secure score. So my score at the moment is 11%, but it will reach 100% after I am done with the recommendations. So the recommendations help me to secure my resources on the Azure portal. So this is my score and why I got 11%. This is why when I click on recommendations, you see, this is the hygiene. My resources are not healthy because I have not met some of the recommendations. So I need to like secure the management ports. I need to remediate vulnerabilities. There's a lot that I need to do on my servers, like both servers. So yeah, this is the hygiene. When it comes to recommendations, that is the hygiene. Oh shucks, yeah. Only 2 points are healthy, but the others not healthy. All right, so that is how you view your security center. Oh yeah, and the other one is to set up the security alerts. So we're just gonna go back to security center, and where's this? Say pricing. It's not on this side. So the auto provisioning, that's the other thing that you like need to set up sometimes. You need to set up to add the log analytics. If some of the recommendations say that you need to add the log analytics agent for your Azure VMs, then you need to set it up right over here. And the other ones, yeah, that's the other stuff that I left out. And for notifications, you can set up like email notifications right here on your settings. The pricing, what is it again? Yeah, policy, pricing and policy settings. And just add the email address, and they can be separated by a comma. Okay. Even right here, it's just telling me to install an agent on my servers because it's not installed. Security solutions. This is the SIM that we were speaking about, and the other time. You can add the SIM on your security alerts. Now I'm just looking for the security alerts, and then I found it. Yeah. So this is how you create your security alerts. You can just click on simple alerts. At the moment I only have two. So you select which ones you need. So I'm just gonna click right there and select the ones that you want alerts on. I'm gonna select all of them for now and click on create sample alerts. Sampling. It's gonna take some time because there's like a lot of them. These were created yesterday. Are we still okay, guys? Just show a thumbs up if you're afraid of opening your mic. Okay, so now they're successfully created. Thank you. So the high ones just mean that I need to check them out and see what is the problem. So like you get the titles like this is a suspicious one. Let's just try and do that there. Suspicious phishing content on the sample app. Oh, I forgot that I have a sample app. Yeah, so those are the alerts that you can create on your security center. Okay. Now let's go back to our presentation. There's another walkthrough that we left out, and that is the Azure Key Vault. Okay, so the Azure Key Vault and how you create your Azure Key Vault, how you implement your Azure Key Vault. This is the one right here. So we're gonna create an Azure Key Vault and add a secret onto our Azure Key Vault. So what we need to do is go back here, go to home, and then from home, what is happening here? Sorry about that, guys. Okay, fine. And then you're gonna have to create a resource. You're gonna create a resource. Okay. We're gonna search for on all services and search for key vaults. There we go. Okay, let me just type it and search it instead. And there we have it right there. This is the only Microsoft Key Vault. We're gonna select it and then create. For this one, let me see, I'm just going to put it on fundamentals. Remember that a resource group is like a container for your resources. Keep that in mind. That's where you put in your resources to group them up. So a resource group is like a container or a bucket where you put in your resources, your Azure resources. And then our key vault name, I'm just going to put in GDSAF key vault. And the region, I'm going to put in South Africa North. For the tire, I'm just going to use standard. Standard is fine. Standard is fine. And then review and create. If you left behind somehow, just let me know. You can open your mic, you can enable your mic and just tell me that you left out somewhere, and we can go back. I'm just going to click on create. Should it take long? Let's wait for it. Just wait for it. Okay, there we go. Now it's back on. So our overview has the resource group, the location, subscription ID, the vaults, URL or URI. Then we see the pricing tier, it's a standard tier. Okay. Activity log, we don't have anything as yet, so there will be no activity. The access control, that's where we add like people who can access the key vault. Okay, so now we're just gonna have to go onto settings and go to secrets, because we were told that we need to add a secret to the key vault. So how are we gonna add the secrets onto our key vault? We're gonna go onto secrets, and then we're gonna click on generate or import. So if you have a secret key, you can import it, but then if you don't, then you need to generate one. So let's see, maybe you can say example password, example password, and then maybe the key you can just put in like okay, let me just type in something that I can remember. Let me put in something that I can remember. And then all that, the content type is optional. The activation dates and expiry dates is optional. We're gonna leave it as enabled. Yeah, there are no tags, and then we're just gonna click on create. And now to see it, we're just gonna click on example password, and hello. Hello.
sir,
Yes.
the value is the password.
Yeah, the value is the password. You just put in the password, any password.
Okay. It's your name in the password.
Okay, let's go back to the key vaults so I can create another one. Secrets, generate import, and then the name, you give a name of the password. Say maybe example password 2. Okay, and then for the secrets, I can even add like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. So that is like my value password that I'm adding, or like the secret key.
Alright.
And then the content type, I'm just gonna leave it blank, and then all this, yeah, just gonna leave it as default, and then click on create. It's just an example.
Alright, sir, thank you.
Awesome. All right, and then we click on our key that we just created and click the current version to show it. From here we have like the secret identifier, and yeah, let's show the secret value, and there's it right there, and I cannot change it from here. Cannot be changed. So that's how you add a secret key or a key onto your key vault and store it there. Yep. Alright, that's the other walkthrough that we just covered. See which other one I left out. Okay, this is the one that was also left out. Okay, for this one we need to secure a network traffic. So we're gonna deploy a custom template to create a virtual machine, but you already have a virtual machine, right? And then we're gonna create a network security group, create an inbound security group. I mean like an inbound security port rule to allow the RDP, and then configure an outbound security port to deny internet access. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. So at the moment, I will kindly ask of you to... Do you still have a virtual machine though? Before I can say that you have a virtual machine, do you still have a virtual machine on your portal? Hello? If you still have a virtual machine, just show a thumbs up. Okay, let's continue. All right. So I already have virtual machines already on my side. If I click on virtual machines at home, like the home page. If I click on virtual machines, I already have virtual machines on my side. I have WinTest and WinServe. So what I need to do is create a network security group. So how do we create a network security group? We're just gonna click on create a resource. From the resource, we're gonna type in network security group. You just search. Okay, we are looking for a Microsoft network security group, not by Bowsprit Consulting. Nope. Yeah, not the other ones, not the application security group, but the network security group. So we're gonna click on that one. Are we still together? All right, and then click on create. And from here, maybe I can use fundamentals, resource group, and then I'll have to give it a name. GDSAF. NSG secure. Then I can leave it there. There are no tags. Create. Uh-oh. All right. So it's creating the NSG. And we can go to the network security group. So the other step was to create a network security group and then create an inbound security port rule to allow RDP and configure an outbound security port rule to deny internet access. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So to configure an inbound security port rule to allow RDP, okay, let's try this out. We go back to the virtual machines. I need to change something because one of these virtual machines already had the RDP open. So I need to go on to where's this. Okay, I need to remove this guy. I need to remove it. I need to remove this rule. Okay, let's delete it. Delete RDP. Okay, it's deleted. So now, if I go onto my virtual machine again, and then try and connect to it, it will deny access. Okay, let's try connecting to it. Say remote desktop connection. I'm just gonna put this guy there, and our VM's IP address. Oh, okay, no, it's not the same anymore. This is the IP address right here. So we need to change a few things. Put on 208. And are you able to see my screen? Maybe I'm not sharing this. Okay. So we're gonna try and connect to it now. And yes, I do trust this connection. And while I'm trying to connect to it now, it's gonna deny me access because there is no RDP port available. There is no port that is open. So this is the results that we get. It's the remote desktop can't connect to remote computer for the one of the reasons. So it could be that the remote access in the server is not enabled, just like how we removed RDP. So yeah. Okay. So that's what I was trying to demonstrate there. So what we need to do now, we need to go down to settings onto our virtual machine and select networking. And let's see, there's something that I need to add. Okay, this one is using the WinServe NSG. So there's already a network service group available. So we're just gonna click on the network service group. And then from here, what we're gonna do is add the inbound port rule. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna click on inbound security rules, and then we're gonna add so we're gonna leave the source as any. The source port ranges, we're gonna leave it as that asterisk right there, and then the destination also is gonna be any, and then for service you're gonna leave it as custom. Oh no, you're gonna select RDP. And
Highlight you. May
Hi.
I ask,
Yes.
when you create a VM, does it automatically create like a security group? I
Yes,
don't
it
remember creating
does.
that before, but I see.
Yes,
So
it
it's a,
does.
okay,
Unless you assign it on the networking tab before you create the virtual machine.
okay.
Yep. So I cannot really assign the other network security group right here on my virtual machine because it's already been created. So we're just gonna use the one that is available. So we're gonna leave the service as custom, and then on our port ranges, like the destination port ranges, we gonna leave it as 3389 because that's the port number for the what is this for RTP. Um, and then on the name, okay, the priority we have to set it up as 300, not 3000, 300. It's protocol TCP. Uh, yeah, we're gonna leave it as TCP, and the action we are allowing the ports on our network service group. And then for our ports, we're gonna call it allow RDP, and we're gonna click on add. So now we are adding. Let's see, did I leave out something? Nope. Okay, so now we are adding the RDP port rule. Okay, so now let's try. Okay, so it has been created. So now let's retry and connect to our. So by pressing on the start button and typing in remote. Okay, let me try and open it this side. Okay, it's not letting me. All right. Remote desktop connection. It's gonna open up, and let's see. Keeps on changing. Can we go back to my WinServe overview? Keeps changing the IP address. So the public IP address is 208, and that is a 109. Now let's try connecting. Connect. There we go. Now it is connecting. So I don't remember if I still remember the password. Oh shucks. Okay. There we go. And now we are connecting. So now we are connected onto our virtual machine. Now the other thing that we need to set up is to configure an outbound security port rule that will deny internet access onto our virtual machine. So how are we going to do this? Let's go back to this guy and see maybe if we can open up Internet Explorer. I don't know why they don't have Edge, okay, but for security reasons, let's try HTTPS www.bing.com. It's gonna keep on with this security things, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that means we are able to access the internet at the moment. Try and search up something, maybe let's say cars. Man, I have to add this all the time. It's just bad. Okay, I don't like this at all. Okay, just close it. Close. Okay, so it shows that we do have internet access. So, but now what we need to do is deny internet access. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our Azure portal. And then on our settings section, we're gonna go to networking. And we're not gonna add an inbound port rule, so we're gonna just add the outbound port rule. So what are we adding on our outbound port rule? We are denying internet access, and okay, yeah, it's only internet access that we are denying. So we're gonna add it there by add outbound port rule, and for the source we're gonna leave it as any. The port ranges we're gonna leave it as asterisk to select all, and the destination say service tag, yeah, and then we're gonna just leave it as internet. For the service custom. Port ranges, you're just gonna have to say all, put on the star. And then for the protocol, we're gonna use the TCP protocol. Yeah, and for the priority, we're gonna use 400, and then the name is gonna be deny internet access. Please pause me if I'm too fast. Just gonna pause there for now, the moment. Are we still okay though? Are we still okay? Thumbs up, please. If we're still good. Thank you, Uncle Dave. Alright, thank you, Tigetso. Alright, so I'm just gonna click on add. I'm gonna click on add. And now, if I try to go back to my virtual machine, and try and go to, okay, let's see, was it completely added? Oh yes. Why is my deny so big? Like there's like a double E right there. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it as that, like deny. Okay, fine. So now let's try and access let's see, try GoDigitalSA.today. Say add. Oh, so it didn't work.
I think we allowed the connection instead of deny, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. Ish. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we need to deny. Thank you. You're not paying attention. Thank you very much. Alright, so now let's retry. Let's retry. Maybe let's go into Web Talks. Okay, it's still working. Just close and open it again. Some around, let's try yeah, so it cannot reach it, so it has been blocked. The internet access has been blocked. So that's how you control your inbound and outbound port rules using the network security groups and the networking settings on your shut down. And this time around, I'm glad I'm not shutting down my whole computer. Anyway, to avoid additional costs, you can delete your resources or the resource group. I'm not gonna delete mine for now. I'm gonna need it. I need it. So we have covered. Okay, we did deploy a custom template to a virtual machine, and then we created a network security group. We created an inbound security port to allow RDP. And then we configured an outbound security port rule to deny internet access. Yeah. Okay. So now let us continue. But before we continue, we're just gonna take another short 5-minute break. Drink water, go to the toilet. Go to the bathroom. Sorry for using the toilet word. Make coffee if you want to make coffee. Unfortunately today I don't have my green tea, so I'm just gonna drink water. So yeah, so let's just take that 5-minute break, stretch a bit, don't sit too much on the chair, and then we're gonna come back again and continue with the other 2 modules that are left. Cool. Okay, so we are back to finish off our other modules. Shucks. Okay, so we're gonna do module 5, which is also on your skill pipe books. Forgive me for the background. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna talk about identity, governance, privacy, and compliance. And our module outline is that we're gonna learn about Azure Identity Service. That's where we're gonna speak about authentication versus authorization, and then we're gonna look at the Azure AD, multi-factor authentication, and then the single sign-on and conditional access. Whew. When I didn't know about conditional access, it was like if you try and like, okay, I was working on a project like last month, and the thing is we were migrating users from another system to Microsoft 365. And what happened was I was trying to like migrate their emails from the old system to Outlook, and I created a virtual machine, but the virtual machine was placed in another region instead of South Africa. And when I tried to like log in to their email address using that VM, it just blocked me and be like, it was like your okay, your login details are correct, but then you are not authorized to access these services in this location. So it was outside of South Africa. That's why it was denying me access to the account. So that is what is conditional access. You set the conditions for users to access their accounts, to set up maybe like, let's say, if they are outside a certain area, they cannot access their accounts. And then we're going to look at uh, Azure governance features, which will involve RBAC, resource logs and tags, and then policies, blueprints, and CAF. And then we're going to look at Azure privacy and compliance, privacy statements, and online service terms, trust center, and compliance documentations. There's like a lot of compliance going on here. And then Azure sovereign regions. So when you speak about sovereign regions, maybe they're speaking about like Azure governments sort of things. Okay, let's continue. So now the first domain that we're gonna look at, it will just focus on the Azure identity services. So let's compare the authentication and authorization. So authentication identifies the person or service or service seeking access to a resource, and then it requests legitimate access credentials. So that is authentication. It's basis for creating secure identity and access control policies. And then authorization determines an authenticated person's or service level of access. So authentication is like your passwords, your email address and password, and then authorization is just to mean that maybe do you have access to that type of resource. Let's say maybe like you are trying to access the, what is this? How can I put this? Okay, let's say you are working on a computer, and that computer has two users. There's an administrator user, and then there's a user like a local user, which is you, and that user doesn't have like privileges to install or go on to computer management. So when you try to like open up computer management, it's gonna deny you access because you don't have the authorization to open computer management. So that's what they mean by authorization. You don't have access, or you do have access to a certain resource or component on your computer. And then we have what we call multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication provides additional security for your identities by requiring two or more elements for full authentication. Something you know, okay, your multi-factor authentication can be something you know, something you possess. Okay, something you know is gonna be like your email, like your email and password, and then something you possess, it can be a key or a card or a token, and then something you are. It could be a biometric element, such as a fingerprint, face scan, and maybe you can use other mobile devices. Something you are, something that yeah, something you are. So multi-factor authentication uses three of those things. It's something you know, something you possess, and something you are, which involves biometrics. And then we have what we call the Azure Directory or Azure Active Directory. So to those people who have worked with servers before and worked with like LDAP and Active Directories, this time around we'll be taking that Active Directory and putting it into the cloud. So the Azure Active Directory is Microsoft Azure's cloud-based identity and access management. So from here you can like manage like everybody in the organization. Like you can manage their access to certain services. You can like manage maybe like certain types of groups of people to certain services, or deny them access to those services. So that's what Azure Active Directory is for. And the other thing is that you can assign licenses to the users in your organization using Azure Active Directory services. So you can authenticate users, employees sign in to access resources, or you can enable single sign-on for the users on the Azure Active Directory. And also you can enable application management, business to business, device to customer identity services, and there's also device management. So with device management, they mean that you can add devices onto the Azure Active Directory, just like something called the domain join. So when they speak about that, like you add devices, let's say maybe like my phone. If my phone is added onto the Active Directory to be managed, that means everything that I do is monitored and it is managed by my organization. So if maybe like I lock my phone on the Azure Active Directory, or like block it from accessing some resources in the organization, then I will not be able to access those services using my phone. Yeah. So that is what device management, but not only mobile phones, also desktop computers and laptops. Yep. And then we have what we call conditional access. So conditional access is used by Azure Active Directory to bring signals together to make decisions and enforce organizational policies. So if maybe they say like at work, you are not allowed to access your account outside of Africa, then they will set up an IP location sort of conditional access. So there's user or group membership. So if maybe like you're not part of a certain group, you cannot access the resources that are for that certain group. The IP location, if you're outside of a certain area, you are not able to access those resources. If maybe you are using an Android phone or an Apple phone, let's say maybe like I'm not like discriminating iPhone people or something. Let's say maybe like you are trying to access Outlook using an iPhone, then maybe it can deny you access, and it can only like allow you to, you can set it to like deny access to an iPhone or an Android phone, or deny access on a Mac or a Chrome OS. Yeah. And also on applications. So you can deny users to not maybe access some certain applications. And there's also risk detection. So if there's a certain risk around your network, then it will deny access or allow access. but it's up to the administrator, the global administrator, to set that up. Okay, we have a walkthrough here of which we're gonna check out later. I'm just gonna like fly out the theory part and then come back to the practical, just like how we did at first. And then we have what we call the Azure governance methodologies. So in this objective domain, we're gonna look at RBAC, which is role-based access control, the resource logs, tags, Azure policies, Azure blueprints, and cloud adoption framework for Azure. Start with RBAC. So RBAC is like the role-based. So let me maybe just put it this way. If you have a certain role at work, you know, like you have certain responsibilities that you need to take care of, or maybe at home. If you are a mother or a father at home, you know that you have certain responsibilities that fall onto you because of your certain role. It's not a stereotype when it comes to Azure, but then it's just like that. You have certain duties that are given to you because of your certain role. If you're an administrator, you have certain duties to administer the whole system of your organization. So the same with the role-based access control. So you have access to certain resources or services because of your certain role that you are given at the organization, or inside the Active Directory services or the Azure Active Directory services. So the RBAC is a fine-grained access management. It segregates duties within the team and grants only the amount of access to users that they need to perform their jobs, just like I was explaining. And then it enables access to the Azure portal and controlling access to the resources. That's what RBAC is for. But RBAC is not only on the Azure Active Directory, even on resources themselves, they do have role-based access control that I needed to point out. And then we have what we call the resource logs. Yeah. But there's no master pronunciation.
Don't bite me.
Okay. And then the resource logs protect your Azure resources from accidental deletion or modification. So you can log your resource. If you have like multiple people that you have assigned to some resources at your organization using Azure, then you can log those resources. We have two log types. There's cannot delete and read only. So with cannot delete, the read is available, the updates are available, but the deletion is not available. With read only, people can read, but they cannot update and they cannot delete. That you have to know because it comes out on the exam. If you want to take the exam, that you need to know. And then we have the walkthrough of setting up the resource logs, but we're not gonna do those now. Okay, this is something else that you might have noticed when you are creating maybe a virtual machine, just like how we did yesterday. When we created the virtual machine, when we created the web app, there's always a section for tags. So those tags just help you to like organize your resources. Maybe let's say like you want to tag it as if maybe this is for finance, this is for HR, this is for say the IT department, the development department, the sales and marketing department. That's how you use tags. So it provides metadata for Azure resources and logically organizes resources into a taxonomy and consists of a name value pair. So maybe like, let's say, when they say name and value pair, it says just like how they put it right here. The department, its marketing, environment, and production. The owner can be Joe, it can be Tabo, it can be DK, or it can be Toby. Yeah. And then it is very useful for rolling up billing information. That is what is tagging. You could have seen it though. You just maybe go back there. Let's just create something. Just create something just to like show you what is tagging. Just a short one. Short. Okay, it's taking too long, so oh, there's tags right here. So that's where you do the tagging. Okay, it's back. Right, let's continue. So there's a walkthrough related to tagging, but we're not going to do that now. And then we have what we call the Azure policies, just like how you have policies on your computer, how you have policies at a workplace that people need to follow. There's also policies in Azure. So Azure policy helps to enforce organizational standards and to access compliance at scale. It provides governance and resource consistency with regulatory, compliance, security, cost, and management. It evaluates and identifies Azure resources that do not comply with your policies. Okay, the other policy that you can set up, maybe just try and set up an example, maybe make an example. Maybe there could be a policy that for compliance. Okay, let's say this compliancy policy states that you cannot access your 365 account using an Android device. So if you try and access your 365 account using an Android device, then it will let you know that you are not compliant. It will let you know that you are not compliant. It will also alert the administrator that you have broken one of the policies. And sometimes you can set up those policies to deny access, just like the what is this? Conditional access, just like conditional access. Conditional access and Azure policies, they go they go together. Yeah, birds of the same feather, or the feathers of the same bird. Okay, and then it provides built-in policy and initiative definitions under categories such as storage, networking, compute, security center, and monitoring. So also there's a walkthrough for this guy right here, but we're not gonna do it now. Just once we finish up the theory part and then go back to the practicals. We started late. Okay, so we have something else called the Azure Blueprints. The blueprints make it possible for development teams to rapidly build and stand up new environments. Development teams can quickly build trust through organizational compliance with a set of built-in components such as networking in order to speed up development and delivery. So it has role assignments, policy assignments, Azure Resource Manager templates, and resource groups. If you do play games, you will know what is a blueprint. I'm kidding. But also there are also blueprints in construction. So blueprints are like, it's like a, how can I put this? I don't have the word at the moment. It's like a layout of how something needs to be. That is a blueprint. Yeah. So even in construction, civil engineers, they make up blueprints of how maybe a certain structure needs to be. That is a blueprint, and they have like maybe say certain somebody needs to do one, two, and three, and then if there's a civil engineer here, they can correct me. um, and they also, what is this? What is this? They also have like maybe budgets for certain resources that they need to use to finish building that infrastructure or that structure. So that is a blueprint. In games, in Call of Duty, there's blueprints. And some other games also there's blueprints. Just like Mac Arena, there's also blueprints. Yeah, yeah. So you can find blueprints anywhere. It's like a recipe. That is a blueprint. Yeah, let me just like put it like that. A recipe is a blueprint. Yeah, so even in Azure, there's Azure blueprints. And then there's also a cloud adoption framework. So the cloud adoption framework helps you to strategize, plan, and helps you to migrate maybe from on-premises to the cloud. And it helps you to like develop new cloud native or hybrid solutions. If you're an app developer, you can use the cloud adoption framework. And also for governance, to govern the environment and the workloads, and to manage operations and hybrid solutions. So that is the cloud adoption framework. So the one Microsoft approach to cloud adoption in Azure, that is the cloud adoption framework. And it also involves best practices from Microsoft employees, partners, and customers to help you to adopt fast onto the cloud environment. It also has tools, guidance, and narratives for strategies and outcomes. Yep. So even though like you are new to Microsoft Azure, it is really easy to learn it. It's just to practice and like explore most of the stuff. So even the cloud adoption framework will help you with that. Right. And then we have privacy, compliance, and data protection standards that we have in Azure. So this is another objective domain that we need to cover on this module. Are we okay? Module 5. We're still on module 5, so we still have time. So this objective domain, we're gonna focus on the Microsoft core tenets of security, privacy, and compliance, Microsoft privacy statement, online services terms, data protection amendment, DPA, the trust center, the Azure compliance documentation, and Azure sovereign regions, just like Azure government cloud services and Azure China cloud services. So they just wanted to separate themselves, and they had their own Azure cloud platform that was given to them. So yeah, I don't know. Are we still okay? I don't like talking to this much. Are we still okay? Any questions? Yes, Tiketo.
We okay?
All
I'm
right.
okay.
All right. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes I don't like talking too much. I'm an introvert, but I talk too much. That is so weird. Okay, so we have security, privacy, and compliance. So security is secure by design with built-in intelligent security Microsoft helps to protect against known and unknown cyber attacks using automation and artificial intelligence. So that security part, we did touch on that when we were speaking about um, what is this? The security center and then the Azure Sentinel Robocop. Yeah. So yeah, that's the security part in Azure, and then we have the privacy part. This is just to like ensure you that you are protected. So with the privacy, is that they are committed to ensuring the privacy of organizations through their contractual agreements. So when you sign up, there's always those terms and conditions that you need to read, but I'm lazy to read. So I'm at fault too. I'm a victim of being lazy to read the terms and conditions. They're like too long. All right, and then by providing user control and transparency. So that's what they are ensuring you that your stuff on Azure will be secured, and it will be private and only transparent and accessible to you for whatever you paid for whatever you pay for. And then they respect local laws and regulations and provide comprehensive coverage of compliance offerings. So even if they are like a big company, they still need to like follow the laws, like the laws in South Africa. Even like before they built an Azure data center or a Microsoft data center somewhere around South Africa North, they had to comply with the law of South Africa first if they can be able to build those data centers or those regions in South Africa. Yeah. So they ensure you that they are compliant and they follow the laws in certain countries. Yeah. And then there's compliance terms and requirements. So this is like those big words, those acronyms. So they follow these ones: the Criminal Justice Information Services, the Health Insurance Portable and Accountability Act, the CSA Star Certification, and ISO IEC 27018, the EU Model Clauses, and then the NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. I did add this compliance on my security center, so that is the NIST. So Microsoft provides the most comprehensive set of compliance offerings, including certifications and attestations of any cloud service provider. Some compliance offerings include these ones that we just read. So some questions to ask about a potential provider include questions like: how compliant is the cloud provider when it comes to handling sensitive data? We know that there's a lot of companies around that have like a lot of sensitive data, because just in case maybe that sensitive data reaches the wrong hands. It could be the right hands, but sometimes it is the wrong hands, because it can just become public and just like in a snap, like door. Not door. I mean, this guy. Who's this guy? Thanos, not door. Thanos. Just a snap, and then boom, the data is out there. Maybe we can see how people are corrupt. Yeah. So how compliant is the cloud provider when it comes to handling sensitive data? I just imagine if some of their data just gets out. Yeah, but no, politics, not me. Okay, and then the other question is that how compliant are the services offered by the cloud provider? Do they have the certifications that they need and attestations? And then the other question would be, how can I deploy my own cloud-based solutions to scenarios that have accreditations or compliance requirements? So those are just like the few questions that people may ask when it comes to like joining or like using a certain cloud provider. Okay, those are the terms. And then we have the Microsoft privacy statement. So this is their statement then. The Microsoft privacy statement provides openness and honesty about how Microsoft handles the user data collected from its products and services. That's why I keep on saying that even though it is like a long list of words, or like, yeah, if it's like that long, the terms and services or the terms of use, you have to read it and understand like what data Microsoft processes and how Microsoft processes the data and what purpose the data is used for. Yeah, so you will know those things on the terms and services, terms and conditions and terms of use. And then online services, terms and data protection. Okay, just to go back to this thing, it reminds me of the time when WhatsApp was like, okay, now we're gonna be viewing certain data from users or something like that. It was just something like that, and people were panicking, but they didn't read the terms of use before they used WhatsApp. Aish, WhatsApp has been like monitoring a lot of things going on WhatsApp, and people are just panicking now. Anyway, this is not about WhatsApp. And then we have the online services terms and data protection addendum, which states that online service terms, the licensing terms define the terms and conditions for the products and online services you purchase through Microsoft Volume licensing programs. And then data protection addendum, the DPA, I nearly said PDA. The DPA sets forth the obligations with respect to the processing and security of customer data and personal data in connection with the online services. Okay. So the addendum also ensures you that your data is well protected and safe. Then we have the Trust Center. So the Trust Center, you just need to like, it gives you in-depth expert information about certain resources or Azure itself. And you have like a curated list of recommended resources that you can use for certain tasks in your organization, arranged by topic. And then you have like role specific information for business, managers, administrators, engineers, risk assessors, privacy officers, and legal teams, and also developers. You cannot leave out developers. Okay, and then on this, yeah, we're gonna skip that one too. Okay, so the Azure compliance documentation, it starts from global. Then there's it's just like an example. It's global, maybe we can say it like the SA government, then the industry, and then the regional compliance step. So Microsoft offers a comprehensive set of compliance offerings to help your organization comply with national, regional, and industry-specific requirements that govern the collection and use of data. What is this again? Is it Poppy or Pop? Yeah, but the new policy that was just renewed, and what is this? It was just renewed and implemented. So those kind of things, like the use of data, like the use of people's data, they go with the compliance documentation. And then we have what we call the Azure sovereign regions. So these guys, they just want to be like isolated from the public. Okay, so these ones, they meet the security and compliance needs of the US federal agencies, states and local governments, and their solution providers. So the Azure government is a separate instance of Azure. It's a separate instance of Azure. So the stuff that they use on Azure government, it's different from the one that is available to the public. So they just separating themselves from the public actually, and then physically isolated from the non-US government deployments, and then it is accessible only to screened authorized personnel. So if you outside of the US government, you cannot access the resources available for Azure government. An example of compliance standards are the ones that appear right here. So the US Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, that's the FedRAMP, is a standardized approach for assessing, monitoring, and authorizing cloud computing products and services under the US Federal Information Security. Whew, that's like a lot. The US Federal Information Security Management Act, FISMA. Some of these, they will like appear in the exam, but yeah, you can just like read on them, but they do somewhat appear in the exam. The exam is not difficult, by the way. It's really really easy. It's really really easy. Easy. Okay, and then we have also China that decided to have its own. So Azure sovereign regions, just like Azure China, Microsoft is China's first foreign public cloud service provider in compliance with government regulations. So Azure China features physically separated instance of Azure cloud services operated by 21 VNet, and all data stays within China to ensure compliance. So whenever they're creating their resources on Azure, it stays only in China. It doesn't, I mean, like they're not allowed to create resources outside of China. So yeah, that is our module 5, and we are done with our module 5. We can take a short break and then come back at 1 to finish up. Yeah. I also need to drink some water. I've been speaking and speaking. Okay, so we are back. I'll just send a poll, just a short poll that I was testing. And yeah, can you just answer that short question? It's anonymous. Relax. It will just pop up on your screen. Okay, let's continue to the Azure pricing and life cycle. It's also on skill pipe. So this module is like the shortest module in the whole book. I hope so. Okay, so we will look at the methods for managing costs. We're gonna look at the factors affecting costs, options to reduce and control costs, and we're gonna look at the Azure cost management, and then the service level agreements and life cycles. See, it's really short. So our first objective domain in this module, we're gonna look at the planning and cost management. So we're gonna start looking at the factors first. So factor number one, these are like the primary factors. There may be like other factors that are involved. So this is like the first factors that affect the cost. So like the resource type or the resource type, cost resource specific. So the usage that a meter tracks and the number of meters associated with a resource depend on the resource type. We're gonna look at that later when we are looking at the calculator. So there is a calculator available for us to use to check the pricings. And then it also the other factor is the services. So Azure usage rates and billing periods can differ between enterprise, web direct, and CSP customers. So the CSP stands for like cloud solution providers, or customer solution providers, or cloud solution partners, something like that though. Yeah. And then the location. So just like with the currency difference, just like in the rand and the US dollar and the yen also. So with the location, the Azure infrastructure is globally distributed, and usage costs might vary between locations that offer Azure products, services, and resources. And the other facts affecting cost is the bandwidth. Some inbound data transfers are free, such as data going into Azure data centers. For outbound data transfers, such as data going out of Azure data centers, pricing is based on zones, and that's when you use the express route to send data out of the Azure data center onto maybe like an on-premise data center. And then we have the reserved instances. So the reserved instances, with Azure reservations, you commit to buying 1 year or 3-year plans for multiple productions or products. Reservations can significantly reduce your resource costs up to 72% on pay-as-you-go prices. So if you use reservations, you pay like a smaller fee than a person who uses the pay-as-you-go. Just like how, okay, but it's different when it comes to like people using contracts and people that just like go in and buy a phone on a full price, yeah, on a total cost. Then we have the Azure hybrid use benefits. For customers with software assurance, Azure hybrid benefit allows you to use your on-premises license on Azure at a reduced cost. So if you use like on-premises, there's other stuff that you don't pay for. You only just pay for like the little stuff that you use on Azure. So that's another factor that affects cost. And then we have the pricing calculator, the one that shows you how much you're gonna pay for a certain amount of time when you are using those services on Azure. So the pricing calculator is a tool that helps you estimate the cost of Azure products. The options that you can configure in pricing calculator vary between products, but basic configuration options include the region that you want to place your resource on, the tire that you want to use, whether it's a basic, standard, or premium tire, the billing options that you want to use, and then the support options that you need for your resource, and then the programs and offers that you want to include on your resource, and then there's also Azure Dev Test pricing. There's also a walkthrough on this one, but we're not gonna like dwell on it much. There's also a total cost of ownership calculator. So there's two calculators. There's a pricing calculator and there's a total cost of ownership calculator. The total cost of ownership calculator, it is a tool to estimate cost savings you can realize by migrating to Azure. So it helps you like understand the difference between using an on-premises infrastructure and using a cloud-based infrastructure. And then you calculate like how much you have been spending on-premises and how much you are going to spend using the Azure platform. So a report compares the cost of on-premises infrastructures with the cost of using Azure products and services in the cloud. There's also a walkthrough on it. And then we have the Azure Cost Management. So the Azure Cost Management just lets you know like how much has been spent on the resources that you are using. So it reports the reporting involves billing reports, the data enrichment, budgets. You can set up a spending budget on your Azure Cost Management. So maybe like if you have reached a certain level of spending on your resources, then it lets you know that you have reached above your spending limits, and that it involves the alerting when cost exceeds limits. Just like how in Azure, if you have exhausted your Azure Pass, the one that you were given yesterday, if you have exhausted it, your resources stop working and you cannot you are not able to create other resources. Yeah. And then there's also cost recommendations that just let you know if maybe like there's a resource that you are using and not using, and then it lets you know that you need to turn it off to reduce the cost assumption. So minimizing costs. Performance cost analyzers use the cost pricing and TCO calculators to reduce the cost. So you can just like follow this for when you want to like minimize the costing. Yeah. Then we can look at the life cycles. Oh, by the way, this is also available on your skill pipe book. There could be some questions in the exam about it on how you can minimize the cost. Maybe like, let's say they will give you like a scenario based question with a yes or no answers. Maybe like if like, let's say you want to minimize a cost for a virtual machine, and then they give you like a solution like if you delete like remove a tag, maybe if you remove a tag, will this minimize the cost? Then you have to answer yes or no. There's no way where they ask you for an explanation. Just relax about it. Yeah, so they will it's just like those scenario based questions with the yes or no type of answering system. But they usually give you like 3 scenarios that are similar with different solutions, and you just have to like answer yes or no, and there'll be like maybe one or two questions that have the correct answer. So just in case you want to like take the exam. And then we're just gonna look at the last objective domain. I hope it's the last, which looks at the service level agreements and service life cycles. So the SLA describes Microsoft's commitment for uptime and connectivity, just like any other, say, maybe a hosting company, maybe AfriHost, domains.co.za. They also have service level agreements to say that okay, this is how long this is like the how much uptime you get with us if you host in our servers, something like that, they just promise you like it will be up for 24 hours 365, and the only downtime is when maybe like they're doing some maintenance. That's the only thing. So that's like the service level agreement. It's a commitment for uptime and connectivity. So SLAs are based on individual products and services. So with Azure, there's like different types of service level agreements. So you can get like a service level agreement for maybe a virtual machine, for storage, for networking, for what else? For security. So you have like different types of service level agreements according to that product or service that you are using. And then it is a detailed agreement or detailed agreements on the service provided and any exceptions to the SLA. And it is free, and preview features services do not offer SLAs. So if you are using maybe like free services on Azure, those free services do not have SLAs. If maybe like they turn off sometime, you cannot complain about it to Microsoft. Oh, and the other great thing about the SLAs is that if they fall under that downtime per month time that they have for a certain SLA, it's either they pay you back through a credit, or for a certain time you don't pay that amount, maybe for a month. Yeah, something like that. So the SLAs for Azure products and services are as follows. So performance targets are expressed as uptime and connectivity guarantees. Performance targets range from 99% to 99.999 or 99.999%. I just put it like that, 999. And if a service fails to meet the guarantees, a percentage of the monthly services can be credited, just like I said. Yeah, it can be credited to you using the Azure credits. Not that they will pay you back, no, but they can just give you like the Azure credits for you to use. So we have an SLA of 99%, which means maybe like for a month you can have a downtime of 7 hours 18 minutes and 17 seconds. I've forgotten how to calculate this, but in your book it is there. And there's also a 99.5%, which means you will only get a downtime of 3 hours 39 minutes and 8 seconds per month. That's the only downtime. Maybe you will not be able to access some Azure resources. So that's what they mean by downtime. I remember at a certain point when I was trying to like create, it was in December. Yeah, it was in December. But it was December 2019. And I was trying to like create a WordPress website on Azure, and then it wasn't like responding very well. It was like super slow. So that's what they mean by downtime. It was like super slow, and like I had to wait like a few days for me to be able to access it. So that's what they mean by downtime. All right. Sorry. Yo, okay. So actions that affect SLAs. You can lower your SLA by adding more services, choosing free or non-SLA services. That lowers your SLA if you add more services. And to raise your SLA or your service level agreement, you can add availability zones and redundant systems. Okay, many factors can raise or lower your SLA. Design decisions based on business goals will drive your SLA goals. And then there's a calculator to calculate a composite SLA. We can leave that for later. It seems like we do have time. And then this one, the Azure Preview Program. I wish I was able to show you this one, but then I don't have it on my account. I'm not into the preview program, unfortunately. So the public preview is that all customers can evaluate new features. So if like there's new features in Azure or new products in Azure, you are given the right to what is this? To check them out or to explore those services and use those services, test them out, and then when they are tested and done, then they can become generally available. So there's a public preview and then it becomes generally available. So after public preview is completed, all customers can use the feature and region availability will vary. So some other features or some other resources are not available to all regions or all Azure regions. Some regions don't have a specific number of resources that are available on Azure. Then this one also, I don't have it. So monitoring service features and updates. Azure Updates provides information about the Azure products, services, and features in addition to product roadmaps and availability. You can also view details about all Azure updates and their status, and browse and search for updates. Subscribe to Azure Updates notifications by RSS. I have not been using RSS for a long time. And that's when we come to the end of our our course. But before we end it, we need to go back to the walkthroughs that we left out, and we need to do those walkthroughs. So starting back at module 5, we have the one where we need to manage access with RBAC. By the way, are we still good though? Are we still good? Are we still good to do the practicals? I've been talking alone. So please don't tell me you have fallen asleep.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so now we can try and do the practical side of it. So in this activity, we're gonna assign roles and view activity logs. Okay, we're gonna view and assign roles and view the activity log and remove a role assignment. Okay. Alright. Nkambule, are you still here? LN. I'm also LN, by the way. Are you still here?
Yes.
Alright. Okay. What I need right now. So open up the portal. So, okay, we're just gonna go to resource groups. We're gonna create a new resource group that we're gonna use for the RBAC. Okay. So maybe just gonna create a new resource group. Don't worry, with resource groups, you don't get charged with creating a resource group. It's just a bucket that is free to use. So I'm just gonna say maybe GDSAF RG for resource group, and then RBAC for role-based access control. And I'm gonna put it in a region that is close to me, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a bucket. And these are the tags that were spoken of. Maybe I can just like, but nah, I'm just gonna leave it and just go to review and create. So I'm gonna create that resource group, and then I need to go onto their resource group. Where is it? And this is where we control our RBAC, the access control. I did mention it. I remember. So from here we're gonna go into roles, which is where we're gonna control the role access, and then role assignments. Okay, these are the roles that we have. There's an owner, contributor, reader. There's like a lot of them. These are the roles that we have. And then role assignments. So at the moment, there's like a contributor. And then from there onwards, we need to add a role assignment. So just gonna click there, say add role assignment. And then this role will be, they actually give you like the roles that you can use. Cannot like use a custom one. I don't know if it's possible, but I've never tried that. So we're gonna use one for a, just type it, virtual machine contributor. That's the one we're gonna use. A virtual machine contributor. That's a role. And let's say assign access to user, group, and service principal. This is the one we're gonna use. And then now we have to select the user that we need to give the access to. And there's only two people. There's only me and Yolanda, so I'm just gonna select me. And then I have to click on save after. So now I've given a role to myself as a virtual machine contributor. Let's refresh. Trying to refresh, but okay, let's go to check access, all assignments. Let's see, should have been appearing that side though. No. Back. Okay, let's try and go to activity log and see what has happened. Okay, so the activity log, see if, so what they said, view the activity log and remove a role assignment. Yeah, so it appears on the activity log. So we can see that we have added something. We have added something, and there's also a JSON file for it. Okay, from here, say add, or maybe we set filters, add a filter, resource, I'm trying to do something to remove the role access. Okay, why my mic is so loud? Sorry guys, just a moment. Okay. Add filter. There's something else that is missing. Set filters. Something that is missing. Okay, operation. Okay. Then I need the one with create row, because I was creating a row, and then yeah, it's the same one. So even if I didn't have like the filter, but just like you can use these filters just in case maybe like you have like a lot of activity logs in your RBAC, then you can use a filter. Yeah. So it does show role assignments. We are verifying that it shows role assignments, and yeah. And now we're gonna have to try and delete the role assignment, because we were told that we need to assign a role and then view the activity log and then remove the role assignment. So here we go. Access control. Role assignments. There we go. Now we have it. The role assignments, and then we need to remove it. Just click on it and then remove and confirm. Are we still together? Are we still together, guys? That's how you work with RBAC. But that RBAC is not only for resource groups. You can also find RBAC on other resources, not only the resource group. Let's maybe just check the storage. Storage also has RBAC available. So there's an access control management, and from here then I can assign roles to the people in my organization. So I can see the role assignments there, add a role, etc. Yeah. So back to our presentation, and now we need to do the next workthrough, which involves resource logs. So from here we're gonna create a resource group. Okay, we already have a resource group, so I'm just gonna use the one that we already have, and then we're gonna add a resource log to prevent deletion of a resource group, test deleting a member of the resource group, and then remove the resource log. Okay. Right. Just bear with me. New. Right. There we are. Okay. So we're gonna go back to our resource group, the one that you just created for RPAC, and we're gonna go into settings. So settings, we're gonna go into logs. See how simple it is. We just go into logs, and we're gonna add a log onto our resource group. We're gonna add a log. So when you're adding a log, you need to give it a name. So maybe I can give it a name of RG log, so like resource group log. And the log type, there's only two log types. Remember, there's read only and then the delete log type. So for this one, we're gonna put in delete because we want to avoid deleting the resource group. So you can add notes if you want to, but I'm just gonna leave it as empty and then click on OK. So now if I go back to the resource group and try and delete the resource group, you will see what's going to happen. So if I click on delete resource group and type in that RBAC, and click on delete to let me know that it has failed because it is locked and cannot be deleted. So yeah. So now you also need to test deleting a member of the resource group. So we're gonna add a storage account onto our resource group. Let me just remove that there. I just dismiss all. We're gonna add a storage account onto our resource group and test it out if we are able to delete it also. So we're gonna create a storage account. Yeah, here we go, storage account. So whatever policies and resource logs you use on a, okay, I need to use the, yeah, this is the one that I need to use, and I'm gonna name it, what should I name it? GDSAF storage. Let's see if it works. Okay, just put it as that. Performance standard. Okay, advanced. Leave the defaults. Data protection. Leave the defaults and review and create. So now, whilst we are still waiting for it to create, let's just check the other walkthroughs. Okay, we're still gonna have to test deleting a member and then remove the resource lock and then try and deleting again. So that's what we have left to do. Okay, now we have our resource added onto our resource group. So now what we need to try now, because everything that you add on a resource group that is already locked, if you try and delete it, it will deny you deleting it because it is taking the parent rule. So let's try and go to the storage account. I hope this works. Okay, so now let's try and delete the storage account. And there we go. So GDSAF storage cannot be deleted because this resource or its parent has a delete lock. You see, so everything that you put on a resource group that has a lock, you cannot delete. But if it's like what's this? It's like policies. Yeah, policies. If you have a policy that is set on a group, that policy overrides any user policies under that group. So the same thing goes with the resource groups and the resources inside the groups. If you don't want to like implement locks on all resources inside the resource group, you have to remove the lock on that resource group and then add the locks only on the resources themselves. Just like here, there's a lock right there for our storage account. You see there's already one that exists, and I cannot like delete it from here, but I can only remove it from the parents, of which that parent is the resource group. So yeah, I need to go back to overview. It's a shorter way to go through. Then I have to select the GDSAF RBAC, RGRBAC. And then I'll have to go back to locks, and then we have to remove the lock. You have to delete it. Now that it is deleted, if we go back to overview and delete the resource group, it will work out. You just copy and paste that there and then delete. Now it is deleting, and everything inside the resource group will be deleted also. Yeah, so that's how you use the resource locks on your resource groups, and you can also use locks on resources that are inside the resource group or inside your bucket. Okay, so now let's look for another walkthrough to do. Before I continue though, any questions? I don't like continuing without any questions. Are we still good? All right, thank you. Okay, so let's try and continue and do another walkthrough. Let's do another walkthrough. The other one involves tagging. So we need to like create a policy assignment to require tagging, and then we need to create a storage account to test required tagging, view all resources with a specific tag, and then delete the policy assignment. So that's what we are going to do. Right. So let me try this out. All right. So we need to, okay, that's been deleted. We need to go to all services. Let's see if this is around here. Maybe I can just search for it. Policy. There we go. We have policy as a service. And then on policies, I need to go to into assignments. We need to add an assignment, and then let's say assign policy. And then our scope is selecting our subscription. Okay, so our scope is selecting our subscription, and then under basics, we need to define the policy definition. So we're gonna search for the policy definition that we want to add, and let's add in the search box. We're just gonna add tag and look for tag. There's one that I need. Okay, this is the one that we need, because we need the resources whenever like we create resources, to add a tag whenever we're creating resources. So we're gonna add that one and select it. And then description, no description. I wonder if there's parameters. So for our parameters, the tag name, okay, let's say company. Let me just say organization. And yeah, and it's a tag. The tag is fine. Next, I'm gonna leave those as that. Compliance, nope. It's just review and create. And we have created our policy. This is our policy right here. We have created it. So now we're gonna have to try and test our policy. So there's a tag name, yeah, and the parameter value is organization. So you have to go back to all services, and now we are going to create a storage account. So, okay, here we go. Storage accounts, and create a new storage account. Okay, so now we're testing the tagging. This is the part that we are testing. This is the one that we are testing. Okay, so we're gonna give our storage account the name. No, I want to say Fundamentals, and then the storage account can be GDSAF storage. Yeah, we already deleted one with the same name, and then we're gonna put it in South Africa. South Africa North, and then leave it as standard. Okay, let me just leave it as there, that's here redundant, and then say review. So on the review, it will just tell me that the validation failed, required information is missing. So the required information, it just shows me like that red dot, and then I'll have to attend to the missing information. So the name, the policy validation error, see below, or see details below. So I have not met the policy, and then I'll have to use the tag name organization on the tags and add a value, GDSAF, and then review and create. So now it's gonna succeed with validation. So validation passed, and now I can create the resource. So that's how the policies work. You can add policies and enforce those policies on your resources. So now, to view the tags, or to view all resources with specific tags, let's see. View all resources with a specific tag. So now we're gonna go back to our portal while we wait. Okay, no, so it's done. Let's go back and search for tags, and there is tags right there on the services. And there we have it. We have the tags right here. There's only 2 tags on my subscription, but you can also filter them by, okay, let's see, what is this? Filter, let's try tag. You can tag them by name. Filter them by name. Say organization. There we go. So we are filtered. If we have if we had multiple resources with different types of tags, then that's how you filter them, by just typing in right there down here, and then you will see your results. So there we have it. And now the last part that we need to do is to delete the policy assignment, so it doesn't affect any other resources that we build or we deploy onto our resource groups. So what we need to do again is to go back to policy, Where's this one? I was non-compliant for once. Go to assignments. There's this one. You need to select it and then delete it. So we're just gonna click on delete assignment and then confirm by clicking on yes, and then we have deleted the assignment. Okay, before we run out of time, there's one thing that I wanted to so we have done creating a policy, we have done creating a storage to test it, we viewed the resources with a specific tag, and then we did delete the policy assignment. There's one thing that I spoke of and I kept on speaking of. It is the pricing calculator, on module 6. This guy. I wanted us to configure the pricing calculator and then review the pricing estimates. I'm just looking at the time and be like, okay. So I'm just gonna do the pricing calculator. Or maybe just search it. Search Azure pricing calculator. Okay, there you go. So this is the calculator. So from here you can just select the resources that you want to calculate on. There's also example scenarios, and if you want to save some estimates, you can save them right here on saved estimates. You can log in to view those estimates. So you're just gonna go back to products. So maybe let's say you want to work with a storage account. Let's just say storage account. So we're gonna add that storage account down at the bottom. So now we have added the storage account at the bottom, and then we're gonna select a region that we want. So monthly at the moment we will be just paying $21.84, and for using it in the East US region we're gonna be using a blob storage type with the performance tier of standard. The account type is gonna be just the general purpose V2. While it's V2, it's gonna enable us to use this storage account on what is this? On HD insights for maybe analytics and stuff. And we're gonna leave the access tires hot. Remember, if the access tire is hot, it means that you're going to be using this blob storage frequently. But if it is cool, it means that you're going to be using it for maybe once a month. But if it is archive, maybe you're going to be accessing it only for somewhat period, maybe after 180 days. So we're just going to leave it as hot. And then these, because the redundancy is going to be low redundancy. So this is what we have as in per month. So per month, monthly cost, we're just going to be paying $21.84. But if we add other stuff on top, let's say if you want to use saving options, let's say we are reserving it for a year. This is just a reservations, yeah. That is per monthly. Wow. Okay, let's just use pay as you go, but they're saying that you are saving up. Okay, it's fine. Maybe that amount we just saw is just for a year, but let's just change the region. Let's put South Africa West. So South Africa West, it's gonna be $28. If we use North, it's gonna be $23.14. If we change the type of our storage account to file storage, also the pricing changes. So it depends on what you want to use. If it's Q storage or the data lake, data lake. Data lake is for analysis. So if it is V2, general purpose V2, you can always change it to a data lake storage. So that's how the pricing calculator works. And you can export this calculator into an Excel spreadsheet. You can save it by logging in first, or you can share it with somebody else. I need to log in to share. So that's how the pricing calculator works. You can add other stuff onto it if maybe like you want to use maybe like, let's say, an app service on top. Can add it right there and calculate the totals, the estimated totals, after adding the app service and the storage account. So that is the pricing calculator that I wanted to show you. We have come to the end of our session, and apologies that we couldn't cover the other walkthroughs. But before we finish, I just have one more request. May you please just use this link right here. I don't know if today you are able to access the chats.
Can you please post it there?
Okay, I'll just do it in the chats. Where's this? I'll just post it in the chats. Copy, paste, copy, paste. Hey boo, hey boo, hey boo, hey boo, hey boo, hey boo, hey boo. Let's see, okay. Haibo. It keeps on telling me that I cannot access the chats. Okay, you know what? I'll just send it to you directly. I'll send it to you directly. So Toby, I have sent it to you directly via chats, and what is happening here now? Because my chats are not available on my side. So okay. I'm just gonna send it directly because the chats on my side are also bugging. Please bear with me. Retry. Oh, guys, when I came back, it's different. Okay, let's try this. Make a presenter, change. Now level full white. Yeah, cool. Alright, let's try this again. This is really bad. Okay, I've sent quick messages. Just Tabo, I've also sent you the link, and now the ghetto. I don't know why with you, it's not letting me like send you a text. Okay, if you are able to, please just use that link. But my chats are also just.
Can I just ask, do you send it via email?
Yeah, I can send it via email also.
Yeah, for me, I'm not receiving anything.
Okay. I'll send it via email.
Typing is not working. I'm not sure what I'm typing.
It's cool. I'll send it via email. Okay, putting in high importance and sending the email. So I've sent the email out. Yeah, it's sent. All right, so I'm hoping that you will do that evaluation. I would really love it and appreciate it. I like growing, so even if you just put in some criticism right there, it's fine. But good criticism helps me grow, not bad. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us for this bootcamp. Yeah. And for exam preparations and assistance, you can just contact us on GoDigi at GoDigitalSA.today. Please like our page and please subscribe on our YouTube channel. And yeah, going on forwards, I'll be just doing like some short videos on our YouTube channel. And yeah, if maybe we get sponsored to do another training on something else, yeah, it's not a promise, but I'm letting you know that you'll be first on our list. If we do get sponsored to do a free training on something else, you will be first on our list. And thank you very much. So now you can open up your mic and speak, talk to me.
Well, thank you very much, Lee.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Yeah. LN, TN, where are you guys?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I also enjoyed like talking this much. I have exceeded my limits of talking. Okay, cool. Bye, you.
Okay, bye, guys.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It's good.